So I'm going to kind of explain this one, but you guys could bop over to yours too and let me know if you have questions. So at the top, we just write the week, and then that next part that says VR, that's just approximately how many responses are we requiring from your child before they're giving something fun, whether it be a token, whether it be their favorite toy, their favorite edible, any of those things. And then we just write their name. And then under program, we're going to write each of these skills on here that Ashley was kind of going over before. They're going to be broken down. I'll use this one. So like MAND or like motor imitation, we abbreviate as MI. So we're just going to say that the first goal we're working on is motor imitation. We're going to write exactly what we're telling the learner. So yeah, there's a little cheat sheet. So what do we usually say when we present a motor imitation task? We say do this. And the two things this person is working on is arms up and touch tummy. So we can see that touch tummy is new because it has an I by it, which I'll go into more on the next slide. And then the next box is VP, so visual performance. So they're working on matching. And then whenever you see F equals, that's just the field size. So how many things are out on the table? So there's 6 pictures out and we're asking them to match. And then sometimes that gradually increases, like in the future you might see that their field size is 8 and they might get all the way up to 10 pictures being on their table. And then the next one is LR, so that's just listener responding, abbreviated. So find or show me the 2 targets that they're working on is ball or shoe. And the field size for that one is 4. So sometimes the field size may be different for each goal, but the goal is usually to get them up to a bigger field size. So that's what that looks like. Do you guys have questions about anything that you see on your approach sheets that you want me to explain?
If it only has a number, what it means, so it doesn't have the F.
Oh,
So that means they're doing multiple examples. We could go through theirs at the end. too.
Yeah.
Like if you guys want to, when we're done,
Yeah.
go through
So
all the programs.
Yeah, I can explain the examples for you.
What's LS?
That is on my next slide.
Oh,
So
okay.
No, you're fine. LS is just going to be, that stands for last session. So on Friday, did they get it right or not? So we're just carrying it over to the next week. So on Friday, like maybe they got it wrong, so LS is going to be a no. When it's 3Y, so we would assume that the week before they got it right 3 days in a row. Or 2Y, we're assuming that the week before they got it right 2 days in a row. And we're just carrying it over to the next week.
So you can compare.
Yes.
And we
Like
can
sheet first.
continue
And we can continue.
their, to see if they master it out.
Yes.
Oh.
So they have to
okay.
get it so many days in a row to master it, and if it carries over the weekend, we have to know what they got the week before to
Yes.
see if it still needs to be taught or not.
Yes. So for mastery here, we do 3 yeses in a row. So they have to get it 3 days in a row. And then we're going to hold it for 2 days. So we're not going to present it. We're not going to teach it. We're going to come back 2 days later and check it to see did it really stick.
So when it's a line, it's that you didn't continue because it's mastered.
It's mastered, yeah. So you'll see, so let's go, I'm going to bop around a little bit here, guys. So a line through and then an M at the end, that means that they mastered it. So they got it right 3 days in a row. We consider Saturday and Sunday to be the 2 days where it wasn't presented. So Monday, she tested it, he got it. So we can assume that he did learn this skill, or she did learn this skill. Yeah, so that's what that looks like. So that's why we have to know what they got the week before. So that lets us know where to start for the new week.
And we do that 2-day hold so we make sure they're kind of maintaining that skill. Can they go those 2 days without us teaching it on? Do they still have the skill without us continuing to teach it every day?
Okay, so let me just piggyback a little bit. The other thing, so when you look at, this last one, so within each day you can see that there's a box that has yes and no. So at the first of the day, so their first table of the day, we're basically just going to test these skills. So we're going to present it, we're just going to circle did they get it right, we're going to circle yes. Did they get it wrong, we're going to circle no. We only usually do that one time at the beginning of their session, whether it's the beginning of their AM and then the beginning of their PM, and then that's going to let the technician know what they need to teach for the rest of their session. if they got a yes, there's no point in us wasting time on teaching it. We want us to teach those things that they're getting no's on that are hard for them. So that's pretty much going to be the focus of the rest of their session. So we just take data the first of the day typically, and then the rest of the session is spent teaching the no's. And then the next day, we're just going to test it again to see, did my teaching the day before work? Essentially. Yeah, so I already summarized that. And then we'll go over you guys' probe sheets in more detail, like Ashley said, after, because we only have a few more slides. And here's the summary.
Okay, so a brief summary. Kaufman Children's Center ABA program really capitalizes on having BCBAs, speech paths, and OTs all within one building, or in one area between the two buildings. ABA treatment really begins with an individualized assessment that helps us identify the child's strengths and areas of need. ABA treatment uses materials and activities that are seen within a typical preschool or kindergarten setting so that there is easier generalization of skills within the center, school, and home. Families will be very involved in all the teaching and learning at every step, so meeting with your BCBAs monthly is very important so that you are involved in knowing what programs can be carried over into the home to help with that generalization. And just remembering that you guys are the experts on your child, and we're just here kind of to help you become an expert in helping your child learn those important skills so that they can play and communicate and make those really fun connections. So these are some frequently asked questions. I'm going to let you guys kind of just read through them. If any of these are questions that you guys have talked about or thought about, I want you to just really write them down, or any other questions you may have, because they are going to be very child specific. So these are a lot of questions we get at the end of kind of this training, and we really just encourage you guys to talk to your specific BCBA about these, because it is going to be very child specific on what the answer will be. So here are some references, or where to look for guidance. The National Standards Project, the Autism Alliance of Michigan and their website, and then Verbal Behavior Approach, that book. Amanda said she actually has a really good handout. I will grab that from her to give to both of you guys. I don't think she printed it for us now, but these are good resources, and I'll get you that one from her. Okay. So that's it for our PowerPoint. We'll end this, and then we can go over the probe sheets with you guys. Sure.
Actually, I just want to say that we started with speech therapy. We have been a while now.
Yeah.
And I have seen all of this with my son. We started with sign language.
Yeah.
And now he's requesting things.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we started in 0, and now he has doing a lot. And at the beginning, one of the barriers I thought was going to be the hardest is the language, because we speak, our native language is Spanish.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm speaking to my son all the time in Spanish, so how is he going to develop all these skills in English, and it's going to be hard because...
Yeah.
And no, he's doing great. He even has better pronunciation than me and my husband.
Yeah.
So, but I saw a lot of improvement since day one. We started with the sign language. I remember it was car and D's for go.
Yep.
So it was already set.
Yeah.
Go like that.
That's
and right
awesome.
away go, or even just a movement. I remember it was like go. And then we got at the point that we did both sign and the sounds, and then until he got that whole word, and we eliminate signs.
Yeah.
So you were able to kind of see that progression
Yes.
throughout of using those vocal approximations.
Yes, and like in the video, I saw like my son with images and making the matching.
Yeah.
And first with 3, then with 8, now with 10, and then making like with different identical items, and now non-identical.
Yeah.
And as I say right now, he's requesting, I can ask him like, what do you want? And it's able to say banana or a car. And I'm not guessing, I'm not, but we went from 0 to requesting.
That's wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool, yeah. That's awesome that you were able to see that progression too.
Yes, and it's exciting because not only in English, but in both Spanish and English. So he's getting
That's good. That's
both.
really good.
That's really cool.
I'm one of the last questions like I saw that
Yeah.
people request is like ask is like how much progress will my child make? I think everybody has that question.
Yeah.
And I'm always wondering like when I'm gonna be able to have a conversation with him. Like for example, if I ask him how was your day, if he's going to be able to tell me I was great or I played with this friend or that. But it has been easier now that he can make requests and I'm not just guessing and that he's learning that he has to use his words. Because at the beginning it was just pointing, and I was like, okay, yeah, you have to be very patient and ask, what do you want? The open please, okay, open, like that.
And that's great, because sometimes it is easier too when they're pointing to just do it for them, but it sounds like you were able to kind of use that process to contrive those opportunities and wait for him to use either the sign or the vocal approximation to request. So that was a really good kind of form that you use to increase those requesting skills for him.
Yes.
Awesome.
And his speech therapist was, and is Miss Bray. So
Okay.
she
That's awesome.
Yeah.
She's awesome. She is wonderful. I'm gonna just turn this off.